MSU Extension has tips to help minimize soybean harvest losses. Agriculture is not immune to cyber-insecurity, and AFBF and the NPPC file a Prop 12 appeal to the Supreme Court. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
Soybean harvest is off and running, and MSU Extension demonstrated how to measure and minimize harvest losses during the Soybean Harvest Equipment Field Day on September 28th.
And the reason is we can lose 1 to 2 bushels of preventable losses under average conditions. Under some very unique conditions, which we're seeing this year, the losses can just go crazy. So the two things that are happening this year is we had some hail damage across the state, especially up here in Gratiot County and through mid-Michigan. And the hail damage not only knocked the seed out of the pods at the time it occurred, but it also made the pods more brittle so that they can just jump out of the pods when we go in to harvest them. So shatter losses are a real risk in those areas. The other thing that's a real risk is lodging. We've got some very tall beans in parts of the state, the thumb and maybe southwest Michigan under irrigation, a lot of very tall lodged beans, and we need to really be careful to prevent losses under those conditions. On the shattering, I think the biggest thing is going to be really time of day. If you could come out here in the morning like what we are, where the straw is still just a little bit tough, or maybe go a little bit in the evening when the straw is tough, I think that will really go a long ways with these really brittle pods. The other thing that you could do is you could maybe slow your reel speed down, slow your ground speed down, make sure that the reel is positioned properly, it's not too deep in the canopy, and it's not too far frontwards. Those are pretty much about all you can really do about the shatter losses. Now, when we're thinking about lodging, what you do there is, again, slow the combine down. Maybe harvest at an angle, if you can, to the beans, and that will help to pick them up. If that doesn't pick them up, and then just the opposite, you actually want to push your reel out as far as you can and as low as you can to pick up the lodged beans.
Staten says measuring soybean harvest losses periodically is essential to determine if combine adjustments are necessary and effective.
What this is this is our 1 foot square. It's just PVC pipe. It's something that's easy for me to work with. And what we do is we're going to throw 10 of those across the heads here, and we're going to be measuring gathering losses because that's where 90% of our losses occur. And so there's a rule of thumb that if you've got 4 beans per square foot, you've lost 1 bushel per acre.
For more information on how to minimize soybean harvest losses, contact Mike Staten at the Allegan County MSU Extension Office. Up next, cyber attacks may target big businesses, but can hurt small farms.
There's torque, then there's 1,050 pound-feet of available best-in-class torque. There's towing, then there's up to 37,000 pounds of available best-in-class towing. There's backing up a trailer, then there's backing up with available class-exclusive Pro Trailer Backup Assist. In other words, there are trucks, and then there's the new Ford Super Duty, the most capable heavy-duty pickup truck ever built.
Cyber attacks in the agriculture industry have increased in the last year, and while large companies are often targeted, these attacks have an impact up and down the supply chain.
These attacks, while they go after money, the problem is the disruption in the marketplace that they cause costs our producers money, because when we have a shutdown or a slowdown in our infrastructure and market disruption, it brings commerce, or can bring commerce, to a screeching halt, and we can't afford that. We have built a just-in-time food system in this country, meaning that what we produce on a daily basis is lined up with what we can process on a daily basis, and then that's lined up with what we consume on a daily basis. And the systems are all built to work, in concert with each other. And when we have a break in one of those links of our chain, it impacts everyone. We need to be diligent in our efforts, protective of our assets, and make sure we're doing our part to keep our industry moving forward.
Birchmeier's advice for producers and processors alike: take cybersecurity seriously and use the resources available to you, including trainings and classes, no matter how tedious they may seem. Coming up, AFBF and the NPPC file a Prop 12 appeal to the Supreme Court.
At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
American Farm Bureau Federation and the National Pork Producers Council are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to hear their case against California's Proposition 12, which would ban the sale of pork from hogs that don't meet the state's production standards. The request comes after a U.S. Court of Appeals upheld a lower court's ruling against the case in July. Both groups say the standards are arbitrary and that Prop 12 would have a dramatic effect and require pervasive changes to the pork industry nationwide. If Prop 12 stands, it would prohibit the sale of pork from hogs born from sows that were raised in pens that don't comply with the state's housing standards. California's Food and Ag Department admitted the initiative won't have an effect on food safety and could increase the mortality rate for sows. AFBF President Zippy Duval says the standards fail to improve animal welfare or food safety. The USDA recently announced investments to address challenges facing producers here in Michigan and across the country. The investments include assistance to help with the challenges and costs stemming from drought, animal health, market disruptions for ag commodities, and school food supply chain issues. The USDA is also seeking feedback on a new climate partnership initiative, which would create new revenue streams for producers. Public comments are open now through the end of October. For more news and videos, visit MichiganFarmNews.com or the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Gross. Have a great week of farming.